Would Ken Poole come forward, please?
My connection with Ken Poole is that I coached him for a bit in tennis in Truro, and of course knew him as a student at the high school. Ken was such a great ambassador for Nova Scotia. His behavior both on and off the court, he was a real class act, and I think that he certainly represented Nova Scotia badminton in the highest possible manner. Ken was able to focus on what was important, which was basically, when you're playing racket sports, the next point, as opposed to thinking about the points that he had just lost or something that had occurred on the court that would have distracted him. So as a result of that, Ken was able to play at a much higher level. Congratulations, Ken, on your induction into the Nova Scotia Sports Hall of Fame. You can be guaranteed that everyone in Truro and around the province of Nova Scotia is very proud of your accomplishments.
It is an honor to be recognized by your home province. In this case, to be inducted into the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame. I am very proud of you. Congratulations, Ken.
Nova Scotian Ken Poole caught the badminton bug 30 years ago and never looked back. He dominated the sport from a young age, winning over 25 provincial and national titles in both singles and doubles, and excelling in every age group. Always working to up his game, he headed to Toronto, and when the National Training Centre there closed, he moved again to the Canadian Badminton Association's Calgary Training Centre. That's when his career took flight. Ken earned a reputation for defeating champions. He beat the national doubles title holder in 1984.
McDougall hammering at the back, it's all over.
Great win by Poole and McDougall.
What a super match.
In 1986, he won a silver medal at the Commonwealth Games, and in 1991 became the first Canadian to defeat China's Wen Wang in singles. He's given back to the sport as a full-time badminton professional, coaching and as president of the Canadian Badminton Coaches Association. Known for his speed and quick reflexes, his composure, and not losing his cool, Ken Poole aced badminton. And tonight we induct him into the Nova Scotia Sport Hall of Fame.
In the athlete category, Mr. Ken Poole, to present the plaque, the regional sales manager of Frischkorn Audiovisual, Brad Burrell. And for the pin, Ken Poole's tennis coach and good friend and a 1997 inductee to the Sport Hall of Fame, Mr. Bob Pierce. '84 was that video. Yeah, listen, they mentioned 30 years ago that this sport grabbed you and held you. How did you, as a little boy, come to it and it to you?
Well, actually, I played, baseball was my first sport, and I played pretty much everything growing up, which, you know, years later, when you get to the elite level, I really appreciate it. It was all those skills I learned playing basketball and tennis and football and everything that really gave me a little bit of an edge over some other athletes that only played badminton, and you know, that was really helpful. So, but it was a volunteer coach named Sandy Allen who ran a program badminton in the junior high, and he wanted to start getting some of the younger kids interested, so they had kind of like a feeder system. So he sent some kids down to grade 6, and it was a very privileged opportunity. So, you know, having played everything, I thought, well, this is, you know, I'll put my hand up and give it a try. And it just, for whatever reason, racket sports seemed to, you know, be the best for me, I guess. Yeah.
You know what? For people that haven't played, you got to be a phenomenal athlete with great quickness. Take a moment to sell how good you got to be in terms of speed, quickness, agility to play this sport.
Well, the big thing for badminton is it's a combination of aerobic and anaerobic. So it's a lot of sports are one or the other. Whereas in badminton, you play a lot of matches in a weekend tournament or something, so you need a lot of endurance. But the sport itself is very quick in the points that you play. So it's a real combination. And for whatever reasons, that's why the Asians seem to really excel at it. I think it's a lot of the quickness or whatever. They just naturally, seem to have the fast twitch muscle fibers. So playing against them is a real challenge.
You know what? In the program here tonight, you see, I think they called it Poole's Points, and it goes through some of your career highlights. What is the big one for you of all that you were able to do, and where you traveled and what you did?
I think for sure winning the 1984 Canadian men's doubles national championships probably. I remember the time the odds for a little kid from Truro, Nova Scotia in badminton that nobody had really done anything nationally from Nova Scotia. The odds were so great, and the road to get there was difficult, and so I think when I won, I said if I never win another match, I'll be satisfied. But obviously, it wouldn't have been the case. But at the time, that's what it felt like.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, and so I think that's probably has to be the highlight. I think.
Yeah. And can you describe the role you're playing now in keeping this sport as part of Nova Scotia culture?
Well, I'm unfortunately not in Nova Scotia. I'm out in Calgary, and I'm not able to get back as much as I can. But I coached for 20 years out there, lots of kids, and was always proud to be, come from Nova Scotia and coach these other kids and get back when I could and tried to help out when I could. But yeah.
I think when kids look at your record, that in itself is enough to make them say, I could be like this guy. So something about Colchester County tonight, folks. We got a lot of folks coming from there going in here. Here's one, Mr. Ken Poole.